Scarlet arm. You are listening at novelfull.audio. Could have sworn I didn't tell it to wiggle around while I was trying to heal. Qiu grumbled, hurrying after, this isn't my fault either, you know. Their chase stirred up the emerald-eyed cloud-winged tiger even more. The dense woods made gliding pretty much impossible. Zhu Zhuqing. Hold up, let's take this thing down. Qiu called out as he saw solid ground ahead. All right. Let's do it, Zhu Zhuqing wasted no time, summoning her shadow spider lance. Chi, the spider spears plunged into the surrounding trees, leaving trails of corrosive black smoke. Roar. The tiger roared, sending out invisible shockwaves. It swiped a paw at Zhu Zhuqing, who narrowly dodged. Good thing she'd blocked her ears with soul power in time, otherwise, that would have rocked her world. Qiu's attack options were limited, and his left eye's abilities were easily dodged. He resorted to using his blurring skills, getting up close and personal. He circled the tiger, the dagger coated in shadow spider venom, taking swipes whenever he could. Zhu Zhuqing, with the help of her shadow spider lance, moved nimbly through the trees. Roar. The venom-laced emerald-eyed cloud-winged tiger was in agony, its roars echoing through the forest, but its mental attacks were useless. Enraged, it lashed out with its tail at Qiu, the air whistling as it cut through. Whoosh, at the same time, Zhu Zhuqing was about to jump onto its back. Zhuqing, easy there. Be careful, whoosh, the emerald-eyed cloud-winged tiger flapped its wings, sending wind blades slicing towards her. Crap. The tiger's tail had just grazed Qiu's side, and he couldn't use his divine power to help Zhuqing in time. Boom, Zhu Zhuqing crashed into a tree, blood trickling from her lips. Roar. The tiger lunged, emerald eyes burning with pain-fueled rage. Shenwei. Qiu, now free, targeted its front legs, they twisted at awkward angles, white fur stained with blood. After a whine, it gave up on Zhu Zhuqing, avoiding Shenwei, and staggered away. You okay? Qiu stepped in front of her, ready to get her out of there if things went south. I'm fine. Focus on the fight. Zhu Zhuqing wiped the blood from her mouth. Thankfully, she'd blocked the wind blade with her shadow spider lance, or it would have been a lot worse. Swish, she leaped back into the trees, sticking to Qiu's plan of wearing it down gradually. The sun was sinking, and the light was fading from the emerald-eyed cloud-winged tiger's eyes. It knew it was doomed. The idea of retreat had already formed in its mind. Qiu had stopped attacking as well, taking a breather. Zhu Zhuqing kept it occupied. Almost there, Zhuqing. As soon as Qiu spoke, she dropped to the ground, the 8 spider spears moving with incredible speed, all aimed at the emerald-eyed cloud-winged tiger. Roar. The tiger's roar was weak, a shadow of its former power. It sent out a weak gust of wind blade from afar, which Zhu Zhuqing easily dodged. As she closed in, the tiger swiped a claw. The yellow soul ring under Zhu Zhuqing's feet pulsed. First soul skill, nether thrust, swish, propelled by her spider legs, she accelerated even further, becoming a blur as she reached its side. The purple soul ring lit up. Second soul skill. Shadow 100 kills. Zhu Zhuqing shouted, her attacks becoming a flurry of motion. Poo. Poo. Poo, her sharp claws tore at its abdomen, spraying black blood. After over 100 strikes, she plunged the remaining spider spears into its body. She reveled in the sensation of absorbing the soul power of the beast, her expression relaxed. Roar. With a mournful cry, boom, the emerald-eyed cloud-winged tiger crashed to the ground, kicking up dust. Hey, hey. Seeing Zhu Zhuqing hadn't pulled out the spider spears yet, Qiu hurried over. Knock it off. You don't want to end up like it, do you? Laugh. Zhu Zhuqing slowly retracted the spider spears. Don't worry, I'm just replenishing some soul power. Qiu looked serious. Don't use that devouring ability all willy-nilly. You'll screw up your foundation, and you might even turn into an evil soul master if you try to improve that way. I hear you. She smiled at Yi Qiu. She had no intention of destroying herself. Even if she absorbed a soul beast's power, she'd only use it to upgrade her shadow spider lance. Just so you know. Yi Qiu didn't want to ruin her future with a soul bone. It was important to make sure she understood the risks. Quit yapping, this tiger's gonna get cold. Zhu Zhuqing pointed to the emerald-eyed cloud-winged tiger, which was barely breathing. Yi Qiu glared at her, causing her to cover her mouth and giggle. She didn't mean to say that out loud. He walked over to the tiger, sat cross-legged, and focused on its closing emerald eyes. Red light flashed in his turquoise eyes, his whole body warming up, wrapped in a purple glow, like a purple silkworm cocoon. His martial spirit is seriously OP. Zhu Zhuqing muttered to herself, watching him quietly. Time passed, and the fight with the cloud-winged tiger had taken longer than expected. The sky had darkened, the sounds of insects filled the air, and Zhu Zhuqing felt a chill as a cold wind blew past. What's taking so long? The purple cocoon was fading, but Yi Qiu still hadn't emerged. Russell, star. Another soul beast. Zhu Zhuqing frowned. She'd already chased off several waves. She couldn't believe another one was showing up this late. Hiss. A black giant snake, at least 40 feet long, slithered into view, its tongue flicking. A 6,000-year iron scale python. No way. Zhu Zhuqing glanced back at Yi Qiu. She couldn't run. Laugh, the shadow spider lance appeared behind her, and two soul rings, yellow and purple, rose slowly from under her feet. First and second soul skills. Nether thrust, shadow 100 kills. Yi Qiu, you better hurry. Swish, she charged straight ahead, no fancy moves, just pure aggression. The snake's size was also a disadvantage. The snake turned its head to avoid her, but Zhu Zhuqing kept aiming at its forehead. Ding ding ding. Laugh, star, sparks flew from the iron scales. After dozens of blows, she heard the sound of tearing flesh. The spider spears stabbed at the same spot. Roar, the snake thrashed its head, sending Zhu Zhuqing flying backward, her pupils dilated. Russell, the snake's long body wrapped around her, the raised snake head looming above. Running would probably buy her some time. Thinking of Yi Qiu, she grit her teeth. I should be dead already anyway. Ding ding ding. She kept attacking the ever-shrinking encirclement. The snake's tail slammed through the air and hit Zhu Zhuqing squarely in the chest. Pfft. Zhu Zhuqing spat out blood, barely managing to stay on her feet, propped up by the shadow spider lance. The smell of blood made the iron scale python even more aggressive. It opened its bloody maw to bite. The stench of its breath filled Zhu Zhuqing's face. Is this it? Zhu Zhuqing muttered, glancing towards Yi Qiu. A flicker of surprise crossed her face. The giant purple cocoon had shattered. He's alive. I don't owe him anything, she thought, and slowly closed her eyes, but the pain never came. Instead, pop, boom, roar. A massive impact shook the ground, and the python roared. Zhu Zhuqing opened her eyes. A huge, crimson, skeletal arm lay in front of her. The iron scale python that had been about to bite her was now flying through the air, crashing to the ground. What in the world is that? Chapter 42 Black Flame. You are listening at novelfull.audio. Zhu Zhuqing's eyes went wide. She spun around to find Yi Qiu right beside her. His eyes were bloodshot, bloody tears streamed down his face, and a massive, crimson arm jutted out from his back. Rib-like structures seemed to encircle his body. Is this a new soul skill, star? Cough. Zhu Zhuqing gasped, her hand flying to her mouth, which came away bright red. The giant, blood-red arm bones vanished as quickly as they appeared. Yi Qiu steadied her. You okay? I'll live. Cough, cough. She leaned on him. I'm not gonna die. Ow, pretty sure I broke my ribs again. Even breathing hurt. I'll avenge you, Yi Qiu said, his voice a chilling promise. The thought of Zhu Zhuqing dying in battle was unbearable. Besides, if she went down, he'd probably be next, right? In the distance, the iron-scaled python, its head a bloody mess, finally shook off the daze from the red bone arm's blows. It roared, opening its blood-soaked maw, its vertical pupils fixed on Yi Qiu. Its 10-meter body coiled tight like a spring. Hiss. It spat, its snake head darting forward like a spear. Ah! Zhu Zhuqing cried out. Yi Qiu, reacting instantly, scooped her up and leaped to a nearby tree. Boom, a giant tree was instantly split in two. Yi Qiu faced the python, his right eye squeezed shut, blood trickling from the corner. He muttered words Zhu Zhuqing didn't understand. Ah, whoa. Amaterasu, that he snapped his right eye open, revealing a bloodshot scara. On fire? Black fire. Zhu Zhuqing watched as the iron-scaled python's body spontaneously combusted. Roar. Boom, that the giant python writhed, unable to extinguish the black flames. Panic flared in its eyes as it crashed against trees and rocks. In moments, it was reduced to ashes, leaving only a ring of purple spirit rings hanging in the dark night, a horrifying sight. Gulp. That's one scary flame. Zhu Zhuqing swallowed, looking at Yi Qiu, who was still holding her. She stammered, Yi Qiu, is that your soul skill? Yeah, my right eye's soul skill. It's called Amaterasu. Looking at the scorched earth, Yi Qiu touched his eye, feeling satisfied. Just gotta bleed for it. Amaterasu. What was that shout about? Just another name for it, basically means the same thing. Yi Qiu paled. Let's go to my Kamui dimension. Okay. Zhu Zhuqing nodded. The Star-Do Great Forest was way too dangerous at night. Wait. He said the right eye's soul skill. Could it be that his left eye has one too? Was that red arm just now? Questions swirled in her mind, but she kept silent. She didn't want a cold rebuff when she asked about the Kamui dimension. Like last time, a vortex appeared, and the two vanished into the jungle. Inside the Kamui dimension, Yi Qiu trembled, still holding Zhu Zhuqing. Yi Qiu, are you alright? Zhu Zhuqing looked at him with concern. Put me down. I'm okay, just a bit of pain in my body and eyes. I'm not used to the new soul skills yet. He set her down on the familiar bed. I'm so sorry you got hurt like this because of me. Yi Qiu felt a pang of guilt. The absorption of the jade-eyed cloud-winged tiger's spirit ring should have been shorter, but he discovered something hidden within his Sharingan, which took time to unlock. Don't worry about it, you've saved me more than once. I only saved you once. Lying on the bed, Zhu Zhuqing's face flushed. Guess I'll be bugging you again later. No problem. Where'd you get hurt? Yi Qiu rolled up his sleeves. After a couple of weeks, he was experienced with healing. She looked away, nervously pursing her lips. My rib broke again. Oh, I'm an expert at that. Yi Qiu started blabbing. She blushed remembering last time, mortified. You. Shut up. You're shameless. He scratched his head. Come on. She turned her face away, beginning to unbutton her clothes. Hold on. Yi Qiu coughed twice, then finally looked up. What's wrong? Zhu Zhuqing looked suspicious. Did I do something wrong? Actually, you don't need to take your clothes off this time. You can put the medicine on yourself. Yi Qiu's voice was hoarse. Zhu Zhuqing froze, her face burning. Why didn't you say so earlier? You were taking them off too fast. You peeked. Shameless. Nonsense. I was looking to see if you were going to put them on or not. Ah. You jerk. Amidst Zhu Zhuqing's screams and curses, her ribs were reset, leaving her to apply the medicine. Yi Qiu turned his back, sat down cross-legged, and took stock of his gains. After absorbing the jade-eyed cloud-winged tiger's spirit ring and the residual soul power from the 10,000-year-old blue-silver emperor's right leg bone, he had reached level 26. His rate of improvement was insane. He now had a few new attack methods. His left eye, Tsukuyomi, was an illusion skill. It was powerful. By simply meeting his opponent's eyes, he could trap their mind in an illusionary world where he controlled everything, time, space, and matter. There, he could inflict devastating spiritual damage. His right eye, Amaterasu, known in the Naruto world as the strongest physical attack. At the focal point of his gaze, it could summon inextinguishable black flames that burned until the target was completely incinerated, and the absorption of the second spirit ring had allowed him to use a premature version of Sharingan's spirit avatar, Susanoo. Although it was only the first stage, just ribs and arms, it was still a powerful weapon, both offensively and defensively. Ugh! Yi Qiu sighed. Powerful as these skills were, they were incredibly taxing on his body, especially Susanoo, which not only drained his spirit power but also felt like he was being pricked by needles all over. Tang San had barely managed to use it early with the 7-in-1 fusion skill, and he couldn't use it again for a while. He lay back, hands behind his head. Guess I'm still a ways off from fully controlling the spirit avatar. Better to save it as a trump card. Yi Qiu. I'm putting on the medicine, Zhu Zhuqing said quietly, now fully dressed. Why don't you rest? You look exhausted. Yi Qiu stood and gestured for her to sit down. I'm not that delicate. Zhu Zhuqing sat next to him, looking melancholy. What were you thinking about just now? Nothing. Yi Qiu chuckled. Really? Seeing that he was reluctant to share, she didn't push. What about the tiger's spirit bone? Did you get it back? Of course. Yi Qiu grinned, producing a shimmering green spirit bone from thin air. Nice, it's a head spirit bone. I bet its skills are related to mental attacks. You're pretty lucky, huh? Always getting external or head spirit bones. Zhu Zhuqing took the bone and examined it. It's pretty, though. Are you going to absorb it? Yi Qiu's mouth twitched. Did that color look good on his head? He didn't have any weird fetishes. Nah, its age limit is too low. I might sell it at the auction house. What if you sold it to me? Zhu Zhuqing asked tentatively. Don't even think about absorbing it. It'll just hold you back. You can't change it later. Yi Qiu snatched it away, rolling his eyes. Can you even use it if you're pretty, star? You didn't buy it because you thought it was pretty, did you? She guessed, her expression dangerous. What? How could I? I don't think of you as that shallow. Yi Qiu waved his hands defensively. He stood and walked to his own bed. He had built a second bed to make the space more comfortable. You're still injured, get some rest. Chapter 43. You don't understand at all. You are listening at novelfull.audio. I just want to get stronger, Zhu Zhuqing whispered, head bowed, watching Yi Qiu's retreating figure. She sat there with her knees pulled to her chest, staring out at the endless stone platform, lost in thought. Sis, I think I could take you now. And Dai Mubai, this ridiculous engagement. The thought of the engagement brought Yi Qiu sharply to mind. For over 2 weeks, he'd been taking care of her, and she could feel this invisible distance he kept. Maybe it was her fault. She replayed his every move, the way he healed her, saved her. And that accidental kiss, she didn't seem to mind it at all. She buried her blushing face between her knees. What am I gonna do? Lost in her thoughts, she suddenly felt a warm sensation. Yi Qiu had returned, standing beside her. He'd placed a blanket around her shoulders. Don't worry about it tonight. Get some rest. You don't want to get sick, or I'll feel bad. Thanks. But I still want to get even. What do you think you're doing? She made fists and lightly pounded his chest. No longer alone, Qiu took her by the shoulders, and put his right hand into a fist at the crook of her leg. Whatever, if you want to do something, it's the same on the bed. Lie down and take it easy, the most important thing is to heal the injury as soon as possible. That he tucked her into bed, then went to find his own place to sleep. Watching him go, Zhu Zhuqing realized she already knew what she wanted. It might be hard, but she wanted to live for herself. The night passed in silence. In the days that followed, Qiu sensed a change in Zhu Zhuqing. She kept asking him to go with her to mess with the spirit beasts, ride wolves, snakes, and spiders. Here, try my grilled fish. That beside a stream, 2 giant white wolves drank. Zhu Zhuqing and Qiu sat cross-legged on the bank, a small fire burning between them. Zhu Zhuqing held out the grilled fish, a smile on her face. Not bad. It's good. Qiu hadn't expected much from her cooking, considering she was a pampered young lady, but the first bite surprised him. Don't think I don't know what you're thinking. She glared at him, then grabbed another fish and skewered it. I used to make this stuff at home all the time. Qiu knew about her situation in the Zhu family. She was older than her sister and couldn't play with her at all. Who would have thought a noble lady would be doing chores? Your family is messed up. Qiu grumbled, then pointed. Oh, right, and the Star Luo Empire, too. Yeah, it's pretty messed up, Zhu Zhuqing agreed, her mood darkening. Which family makes their siblings fight to the death? Qiu's words soured the mood. The fish in his hand suddenly tasted bland. Zhu Zhuqing dropped her fish, leaned close to Qiu, and knocked his fish to the ground too. Hey! Qiu started to get angry, but she brought her sleeve up to his mouth and gently wiped the corners. What are you doing? Qiu pushed her hands away and scooted back, her cheeks flushed. What's wrong? You took care of me like this when I was laid up. Yeah, when you were sick. I'm fine. Qiu just stared at her. Okay, come on. Take a walk with me. She grabbed his hand and led him towards the wolves by the stream. Side by side, they climbed onto the backs of the white wolves and moved slowly along the water. By the way, Qiu, what exactly do you want me to do? Zhu Zhuqing asked, turning to look at him. I need you to protect someone. Thinking of that rabbit, Qiu smiled. Zhu Zhuqing had a sinking feeling. Who? Where? Her name is Xiao Wu. She has a rabbit spirit. As for where, you'll meet her when you go to Soto City. A girl? Yeah. Personal protection is best. But if you need to train, forget it. Qiu nodded, taking the opportunity to make his request. Qiu. Seriously? You want me to give my external spirit bone to protect some girl you barely know? Was this his decision? Had her actions these past days been a joke? Had he touched her for nothing? Had that first kiss meant nothing? Zhu Zhuqing smiled bitterly. The step she'd taken so bravely had led to this. She kept walking. Wait, how do you know I'm going to Soto City? Because your fiancé, the third prince, is there. You always wanted to beat your sister and brother-in-law, right? I figured you'd go after him. You're not breaking free at all, you're just living the life others have planned for you. Qiu kept talking, oblivious to Zhu Zhuqing's growing fury. Enough, Qiu. She snapped. Why do you have to decide everything for everyone else? You think you know me? You don't know anything. Her outburst stunned Qiu. Did I say something wrong? She glared at him, eyes red. She was already upset about that girl, Xiao Wu, and hearing Qiu dismiss her efforts, saying she'd go running to Dai Mubai, she couldn't take it anymore. Qiu. You're a jerk. That while Qiu was still stunned, she yelled again, squeezed her legs tight, and the wolf bolted. Hey! We haven't even talked about it. Don't go too far. What if the spirit beast goes crazy? Qiu yelled, snapping out of it, and quickly gave chase. Zhu Zhuqing stopped on a wide grassland. Hey! What was that all about? I'm sorry if I said something wrong. Yi Qiu approached cautiously. Zhu Zhuqing ignored him, staring silently at the distant sky. Yi Qiu had no choice but to stand beside her. After a long silence, she finally spoke. You're right, and you're wrong. She turned to him, offering a self-deprecating smile. I'm so stupid. It's true, everyone wants me to get stronger and beat my sister. But that's the only way I can survive, right? You have other choices. Oh. Like what? Zhu Zhuqing sat down and patted the spot next to her, inviting Yi Qiu to join her. You could join a big power, like the Spirit Hall. They've been eyeing the two great empires for a while. As a Zhu family member, they'd be happy to have you and would probably recruit other nobles, too. After all, nobles always lose in the struggle for power. Zhu Zhuqing looked intrigued. What else? There's also the 7 treasure glazed tile school. If you have enough talent, they might take you in. They're getting desperate these days. Yi Qiu waited for her response. Heh. And what about my parents? Besides, aren't you overestimating me? My spirit power is only level 7. Zhu Zhuqing hadn't expected Yi Qiu to be so naive. The Star Luo royal family wasn't the Heaven Do royal family. They had their own title Douluo. Yi Qiu went silent. He definitely jumped to conclusions. Sorry. I didn't think that through. Zhu Zhuqing shook her head. It's okay. Thanks. The last word was barely audible. Looking at the sunset in the distance, she laughed at herself. Heh. When had she, Zhu Zhuqing, become such a quitter? She turned to Yi Qiu, a surprised expression on his face, and flashed him a brilliant smile. Then, ignoring his confusion, she hopped back on the white wolf and rode off again. Hey! What's wrong with you? Yi Qiu was losing his mind. Why was this girl so unpredictable? He quickly mounted his own ride and gave chase. Zhu Zhuqing enjoyed the cool evening breeze. She felt free. She had it all figured out. She wanted to thank Yi Qiu. He'd shown her a new path, a new direction to work towards, a way to truly escape her fate, a path she was willing to risk her life for. Chapter 44 The Active Cat. You are listening at novelfull.audio. The two headed out, Zhu Zhuqing leading Yi Qiu to a cave. Yi Qiu recognized it instantly, the same cave where he'd applied medicine to her. She hopped off the wolf's back and went inside. Yi Qiu sent the wolves away and followed. So, what's with this place? He asked. We're spending the night, just the two of us. She replied softly. Hurry up and get the bed set up. Asterisk Is there anyone else here? Asterisk Yi Qiu eyed her strangely, hesitant to speak up, worried he'd mess things up again. He did as she said, summoning the bed with his powers. Wow, your soul skills are so convenient. You can live like royalty out in the sticks. Zhu Zhuqing immediately sprawled out on the bed. Why camp out here? I think we'd be better off back in the Shenwei space, Yi Qiu said, glancing at the darkening sky. Nope, I'm staying here. She sat up, giving him a stubborn look. Okay. Your call. Yi Qiu threw up his hands, then turned to leave. Hey, where do you think you're going? Zhu Zhuqing called out, stopping him. It's almost dark, gotta gather some firewood to make a fire. He shot her a speechless look, as if she was just trying to stir up trouble. Humph. Just hurry back. With a cold snort, she flopped back on the bed and sat there. Yi Qiu sat cross-legged on the ground, watching the fire crackle, while Zhu Zhuqing lay on her side on the bed, quietly observing his face illuminated by the fiery glow. Yi Qiu, do you remember this cave? Her soft voice echoed in the cool air. Yeah, It's where I put medicine on you, right? Don't worry, I won't breathe a word about any of that. I've totally forgotten. Qiu thought she was about to scold him about the past. Oh. Forgotten what exactly? Zhu Zhuqing sat up and moved to sit beside him. Just, looking at you. I don't remember, Qiu stammered. The more he spoke, the less confident he sounded. Seeing his flustered state, Zhu Zhuqing pursed her lips, gave a faint smile, and lowered her head, whispering, actually, it doesn't matter if you remember. Huh? What? Nothing. Never mind if you didn't hear. Her face flushed as she turned away. I don't get it. Qiu muttered, then snapped his head around. Hey, you still haven't promised me you'll protect Xiao Wu. Is she that important to you? Yeah. She's very important. So, are you going to help her, then? I don't want to think about it right now. I'm tired, I'll tell you tomorrow. Zhu Zhuqing replied coldly, her own plans brewing in her mind. Qiu opened his mouth to speak, but then stayed silent, resuming his cross-legged position in front of the fire to keep watch. Inside the cave, the only sounds were the crackling flames and the quiet breathing of two people. Sometime after midnight, Qiu, who had been sitting cross-legged on the ground meditating, suddenly felt someone hugging him. Opening his eyes, he saw Zhu Zhuqing leaning on his shoulder, the two of them wrapped in the same quilt. She had obviously made a decision. What are you doing? Qiu reached out to push her away. You saw me naked, touched me, and stole my first kiss. Don't you think you have some responsibility here? Zhu Zhuqing whispered in his ear, her voice a little cold, as if daring Qiu to say he wasn't responsible, implying she might just kill him. Her warm breath tickled his ear, and her icy tone sent a shiver down his spine. This was totally different from his relationship with Xiao Wu. He and Xiao Wu had been together for so long anyway. Qiu turned his head away. Hey, cut it out. You didn't say any of that before. I told you to forget something, and you just forget it. If I wanted to kill you, would you just let me? Are you even a man? She turned Qiu's head back to face her, staring him down. I'm still a kid. Qiu weakly protested. You. Ugh, you really are shameless. She snorted. Why am I shameless? You were the one who wanted me to put medicine on you. Stop talking. Zhu Zhuqing grabbed his neck. Dare you say you didn't look or touch me when you were putting on the medicine? Qiu grabbed her arm, trying to pull it off, but he was having trouble breathing. I'm telling you, don't push it. I didn't use my eyes or hands to put on the medicine. Hey. You're just looking for a fight, and I'm about to give you one. Give me one. You gonna hit me? She summoned her martial soul, and a sharp, black claw grew out of her other hand, placing it against Qiu's neck. This is too much. Enough joking around. Your thing is poisonous. Qiu tried to get up and escape, but found he couldn't move. Hiss, why are you straddling me? Get off, now. What, are you trying to stare me down with your perverted eyes again? Zhu Zhuqing, seeing the red light flashing under the ribbon, moved her claw slightly closer. After the last incident, she felt like she couldn't control herself, and after learning that Qiu could control the soul beast, she had a guess. Hearing her accusation, Qiu froze, his eyes dimming. She's slandering me, she's slandering me. Why aren't you saying anything? Have you finally admitted you did it? Zhu Zhuqing pressed her face close to Qiu's, her breath hot on his skin. Long live. When did the innocent little virgin suffer this kind of crime? That time was really an accident. My martial soul is a bit special. Qiu didn't have a good answer. Special? Who knows? So, is that why you took advantage of me? She pressed even closer, wrapped in the quilt, and this close, Qiu started to sweat, and the hexagram in his eyes was about to blur and escape. Zhu Zhuqing touched his lips. Even if last time was an accident, this time isn't. The black, poisonous claws retracted, replaced by hands grabbing Yi Qiu's neck and pulling him close to her mouth. Yi Qiu, who had originally felt a little hot, now felt parched. As soon as he got close to the cold pudding, he was frozen in place, and the red light in his eyes dissipated again. His pupils dilated, and a pair of shy black eyes and a flushed pretty face appeared in his sight, just like the accident that happened last time. Yi Qiu was only still for a few seconds before he felt like he was about to die. His face flushed red, his veins bulged, his neck was pinched the whole time, and he didn't know whether it was nervousness or revenge. The pinching became tighter and tighter. He pushed her away violently, and poof! Both of them fell to the ground, tangled in blankets. And already sweating profusely. Hua! Yi Qiu patted his chest, breathing heavily, and it seemed that there was still someone else's breath in his nostrils. You're going to strangle me to death. Zhu Zhuqing, pushed to the ground by him, had a rosy complexion. Her breathing was also short of breath, and it took him a while to recover. As if he hadn't heard Yi Qiu's words, he picked up the quilt on the floor and walked towards the bed. Halfway there, he turned around and looked at Yi Qiu with a calm face. Let me ask you, is this an accident? What do you mean? Yi Qiu got up, a little confused. Answer me. Was it an accident this time? Zhu Zhuqing's voice became colder and tougher, and he stared at Yi Qiu. No. Yi Qiu tentatively replied, confused by her question. Zhu Zhuqing nodded, then turned his back to him and continued walking forward. A calm voice sounded, well, it's not an accident. I took the initiative. After saying this, her face was covered with azalea instantly, her ears were hot, she hurried back to the bed and lay down, restraining her breathing as much as possible. For the rest of the time, she planned to let Yi Qiu think about her feelings for him. If he had a better understanding, maybe she could save some time. Unfortunately, without a thorough understanding, Yi Qiu could not understand the twists and turns in her. Staying put, not sure what she meant. After the rabbit, the cat took the initiative again. One of the three major illusions in life suddenly appeared in my mind. She likes me. Clap. Yi Qiu gave himself 2 mouthfuls, trying to wake himself up. At this time, it was inconvenient to ask her for clarification, so I could only sit back where I was, but I couldn't control my wild thoughts by myself. I even have the idea of whether I want a cat or a rabbit in my mind, or 2. I rely on, boom. Just when Yi Qiu was thinking beautifully, a tongue of flame suddenly shot out from the fire, which startled him and interrupted his dreaming. Chapter 45 The Explosive Confession. You are listening at novelfull.audio. It was night, but Yi Qiu was wide awake. His thoughts were racing, so he summoned the blue-silver emperor to keep him company. He glanced back at Zhu Zhuqing, who was sleeping on her side. I wonder if she'll ever let me pet her like a cat. He shook his head, trying to banish the wayward thoughts. His priority was getting stronger. He had to forget about rabbits, cats, and all that for now. He could think about those things later when he was more powerful. Gotta protect my focus. Yi Qiu sighed. Then, he thought he heard a voice, faint and ethereal. Brother, the voice was soft, clear, and dreamlike. Who's there? Yi Qiu turned toward Zhu Zhuqing, but she hadn't moved, and the voice didn't sound like hers. Am I imagining things? Yi Qiu frowned, confused. He slapped himself lightly on both cheeks, feeling like he was losing it, hearing voices. Ugh. He exhaled and sat cross-legged again. Meditation was the only way to clear his head. Silly brother. The blue-silver emperor glowed softly, its body swaying as if it were giggling. Zhu Zhuqing was still awake and heard most of what Yi Qiu was doing, except for the voice, of course. Humph. I thought he was being serious, but he was just putting on an act. And he blushed when he kissed me. Thinking about her own boldness earlier, Zhu Zhuqing felt a little embarrassed herself, but seeing Yi Qiu's reaction, she decided it was worth it. She rolled over, looking at Yi Qiu's back as he meditated. She hoped he understood what she was trying to say. A smile played on her lips as she drifted off to sleep. Outside, the sun was rising. Qiu was still meditating. Zhu Zhuqing had already gotten up and was sitting next to him. After watering the blue-silver emperor, she kept staring at him. She was about to leave. Before she did, she wanted to remember him well. More importantly, she wanted him to remember her and not forget what happened between them, like he jokingly said he would. Under her gaze, Qiu's brow twitched, and his face turned slightly red. Seeing that Qiu was affected by her, Zhu Zhuqing temporarily hid her embarrassment and reached out to tickle his eyelids. Yo! She realized that Qiu had finished his meditation. A smirk crept onto her face. Qiu, why won't you open your eyes? Am I that scary? Aren't you uncomfortable holding your breath? A breeze brushed against Qiu's eyes. He blinked a few times, and finally opened them. Why are you so close? Seeing her face so close to his, Qiu turned away before he dared to breathe. Hey, you weren't so shy when you were putting medicine on me. I forgot about that. How dare you? Hearing this, Zhu Zhuqing grabbed his collar and pinned him to the ground. Now, I won't let you forget. Really? Qiu looked at her, wondering if she was testing him again. Seeing that Qiu didn't react, she unsheathed her sharp claws. Do you hear me loud and clear? Loud and clear, loud and clear. Words could be lies, but those claws on his neck weren't. In the end, Qiu gave in. After all, he really didn't want to forget. Then, after thinking about it all night, do you understand what I mean? Qiu gave a wry smile. Could he really say it out loud? What if he was wrong? How embarrassing would that be? Is that all you have to say? Looks like you're still not sure. Zhu Zhuqing pursed her lips, her eyes a little shy, and a little annoyed that this guy was being so dense. She simply summoned her shadow spider lance and pinned Qiu to the ground. What are you doing? Qiu raised his eyebrows, almost activating his martial soul. Was this getting too intense? Making sure you understand. With that, she kissed Qiu on the mouth. Their eyes met. This time, Qiu didn't hesitate. The three-tomo Sharingan pattern appeared in his eyes, and he was about to use his soul skill, but a spider spear had already touched his eyelid. With no choice, he suppressed the power in his eyes and let her have her way. This kiss lasted even longer than the one last night. Qiu's face turned red, and he nearly cried from the humiliation. Hiss. A sharp pain shot through his lips. Finally, after a long time, they broke apart. Now, do you understand? Breathless, her face flushed red, she asked Qiu impatiently. Qiu was still catching his breath. Seeing her increasingly annoyed expression, he nodded quickly. Tell me. Do I have to say it? What do you think? She straddled him, pinning his chest down with her hands, the shadow spider lance held high. It was clear, if he didn't say it, she wouldn't let him go. Gulp. Qiu swallowed, turned his head away, his face a mask of embarrassment, and whispered, "You like me." The words were so mortifying that Qiu couldn't help but close his eyes. This was totally different than saying "I love you." Hearing Qiu's answer, a crimson blush spread across Zhu Zhuqing's face and neck. Her eyes were full of satisfaction, and her voice was filled with joy. Say it again. You like me? Qiu's face burned, and he was squirming with discomfort. Hee. You finally heard my confession? She looked at Qiu playfully. I heard it. Qiu wanted to cry but couldn't. Is this your confession? Why do I have to say it? He should have been more confident from the start. Now he regretted it. That. Although I already know, I already have a rabbit. Oh no, I already have Xiao Wu. Though embarrassed, Qiu had to make things clear. Am I asking you to agree? Zhu Zhuqing's eyes dimmed slightly, but her spirit remained strong. I'll just have to impress him. Huh? Yi Qiu was stunned. I just wanted you to know. Humph. Zhu Zhuqing finally sheathed the shadow spider lance, stood up, and pulled Yi Qiu to his feet. Her face flushed, she straightened his clothes for the still dazed man. Get out that horse of yours. Yi Qiu looked at her strangely, then followed her instructions. Zhu Zhuqing mounted the iron-shod horse and said to Yi Qiu, I'll help you with that. If I ever go to Soto City, I'll take good care of that girl named Xiao Wu. Then thank you. Goodbye. Giddy up. Yi Qiu's thanks were cut off by her voice and the horse's neigh. The horse shot out of the cave like an arrow. Damn it. My nag. Yi Qiu, snapping out of his daze, yelled, reaching out toward the entrance. Zhu Zhuqing's voice drifted back. Yi Qiu. Just you wait. Her voice was loud and cheerful. She had a new goal now. She was going to get stronger. Strong enough to break free from marriage contracts and family obligations. She would defy fate and win Yi Qiu, and that girl named Xiao Wu. She was going to see what she was like. Yi Qiu ran out of the cave. The horse and rider had already vanished. She's gone. She was so passionate just now, but now she's just leaving. How does this even work? Who's the scumbag here? The sudden change left Yi Qiu feeling anxious and confused. The more he thought about it, the more depressed he became. Damn it. I got played again, and lost a horse in the process. Chapter 46. You are listening at novelfull.audio. Phew. I bit down so hard, my tongue still bleeding. He spat out a mouthful of bloody spit, glanced in the direction Zhu Zhuqing had gone, and headed back to the cave. Staring at the empty space, Yi Qiu felt a pang of loneliness. Humans are social creatures, after all. When someone you've been around day and night suddenly leaves, it leaves a void. He went over to Zhu Zhuqing's bed, intending to store it in his Kamui dimension, but when Yi Qiu saw what she'd left on the bed, he couldn't help but facepalm, his lips twitching. Did she leave this here on purpose? There were a few pairs of black stockings lying on the bed. Yi Qiu felt like she'd gotten the wrong idea. He just wanted to cover his eyes. Seriously. He sighed, activated his Kamui, and banished the items from sight. He sat down cross-legged in front of the blue-silver emperor, gently stroking its leaves. A flicker of worry crossed his mind. I hope I didn't make a mistake asking her to protect Xiao Wu. Those two better not start a catfight, right? He pondered his relationship with Zhu Zhuqing, saying he didn't like her. That'd be a lie. Who doesn't like a pretty girl? Especially one you can see and touch. Did he want to confess his feelings? When they kissed, he definitely felt something. And when he was applying medicine to her, but he had. Damn it. What am I even thinking about? Yi Qiu ran a hand through his hair. He flopped onto the ground, paralyzed with his eyes closed. He needed some peace and quiet. The blue-silver emperor's branches and leaves gently brushed against Yi Qiu's face, as if comforting him. A sparkling green light radiated from the trunk, and a wave of life energy seeped into Yi Qiu's forehead. Yi Qiu's chaotic thoughts gradually subsided. I didn't expect the blue-silver emperor to have a calming effect. It's kinda nice having a plant around. After a while, Yi Qiu stood up, looked at the blue-silver emperor, and sprinkled some water on it. Since he'd taken it, the blue-silver emperor had grown like crazy. It used to be knee-high, but now it reached Yi Qiu's waist. As if understanding his praise, the leaves of the blue-silver emperor trembled, as if it were overjoyed. Heh. Yi Qiu stroked it a couple more times. It felt pretty good. A childish voice suddenly echoed in his mind. Who's there? Yi Qiu whirled around, searching the cave entrance. Only his echo answered him. There was no one there. What's been going on lately? Why do I keep hearing girls laughing? Yi Qiu frowned. 3 times makes a pattern, and he'd heard it way more than 3 times. Bro. Over here. There it is again, Qiu activated his Sharingan. Where are you? The purple light in his eyes danced, scanning all the soul beasts within 100-meter radius. Qiu froze. A sudden chill ran down his neck. He broke out in a cold sweat. Whatever it was had managed to sneak up on him, which meant it had to be strong. Qiu didn't dare move. Bro. Over here. Just then, that crisp voice rang in his mind again. Looking down slowly, he saw that the blue-silver emperor in the flower pot had stretched out a bit, and its tip was tickling his neck. The chill on Qiu's neck came from the blue-silver emperor. Blue-silver emperor. He stared at the plant in shock. He'd just been scared by a grass. Bro. Bright, smart. Hearing its voice, dark lines appeared on Qiu's forehead. He had a feeling it was mocking him. Not only had he been too scared to move just now, but last night, thanks to its noise, he'd accidentally given himself 2 more Sharingan. Now that Qiu thought about it, he definitely heard some giggling when he finished off his opponents. He now glared at the blue-silver emperor with eyes that promised violence. Bro. Flick. Qiu didn't care that it was barely forming words. Who would have thought that his auditory hallucinations were coming from a potted plant? Qiu sat down again, suddenly remembering that this was a seed left by Tang Hao's wife, Yin, and asked it, "Are you Yin?" Sis. Yin, sis, gone. Listening to its broken speech, Qiu figured it wasn't all that bright yet. Then he looked at it strangely. It called Yin sis? Yin is gone. Does that mean she's dead? Qiu stroked his chin, piecing together the information provided by the plant. The blue-silver emperor next to him actually nodded. Do you know Tang Hao? Qiu was intrigued and kept chatting with it. The blue-silver emperor, which had been swaying, stopped. Its tip tilted back, as if thinking, then it shook left and right twice, meaning, I don't know, never heard of him. So Qiu rephrased the question. He's the bastard who planted you in that pitch-black hole. That got a reaction. As soon as Qiu finished, the blue-silver emperor shook violently, as if accusing Tang Hao of plant abuse. After that, Qiu tried to ask it a few more questions, but it suddenly wilted, becoming limp and unable to stand up straight. Dark lines appeared on Qiu's forehead. Was this plant's consciousness that fragile? Shaking his head, he watered it again. After messing around with it, the melancholy in Qiu's heart faded a lot. Time to move on. He picked up the flower pot containing the blue-silver emperor. A portal opened, Qiu grabbed it and disappeared. He'd been chilling for over a month on the outskirts of the Star Do Great Forest. It was time to head toward Heaven Do Imperial City. In the dense jungle, Qiu sat cross-legged on top of a tiger, which was carrying him out of the Star Do Forest. He now sported a new black blindfold. He didn't really want to tear up what Zhu Zhuqing had left behind, but he still needed to cover his eye. Tearing it off just relieved some stress. He was holding a pot of blue-silver grass with golden patterns on its leaves. Now that Qiu knew the blue-silver emperor was sentient, it felt wrong to keep it cooped up in his kamui. Plus, he was bored on the road, so he figured he'd let it soak up some sun. Qiu had a theory about why it called him bro. He guessed it was because of the blue-silver emperor right leg bone, which made it feel like he was Yin's sibling. Maybe the Sharingan played a role too, but he wasn't sure. After all, he hadn't really tried using that particular ability to seduce any female soul beasts, except for those who could take human form. Since the 10-year iron hoof horse he'd been using as transportation had been borrowed by Zhu Zhuqing, he'd had to use his Sharingan to recruit a replacement. This one was a newly minted 1,000-year-old cloud-winged tiger with emerald eyes. It was only 3 meters long, but the important thing was that it was good-looking. Its fur was soft and shiny, and it could glide down steep slopes and cliffs, which was pretty cool. Should reach a town in a few days. Snap. He yanked the tiger's tail and used it as a whip, striking it on the butt. Was this considered self-produced and self-sold? Or self-sufficient? Roar! The somewhat handsome cloud-winged tiger let out a low growl and sped off. Chapter 47 Calling. You are listening at novelfull.audio. Another day passed. When Qiu emerged from the Shenwei space that morning, he noticed the blue-silver emperor seemed fully recovered. It chattered away, calling him brother constantly. But when Qiu tried to ask it something, it was like a toddler who couldn't form a coherent thought. Still, it made the journey less boring. The sun was sinking, the wind whipped through the air as they rode the handsome tiger, leaves fell, the wind howled in his ears. Qiu held the grass in his arms, the silly grass swaying in its pot. To stay on schedule, Qiu had the Feidong Yunyihu running until dark each day. Only then would he enter the Shenwei space to rest for the night. A cliff appeared ahead. Other mounts would require a detour, but for the jade-eyed cloud-winged tiger beneath Qiu, a straight jump down was mere child's play. It spread its cloud wings in advance, leaped off the edge, and then dove. The strong wind stung Qiu's face. The blue-silver emperor was pressed tightly against Qiu's body, preventing it from swaying. Brother. Bang. As soon as the emerald-eyed cloud-winged tiger landed, the blue-silver emperor's childish voice echoed in Qiu's mind again. Qiu now understood that it communicated through spiritual power. "What's up, kid?" He didn't speak aloud, but projected his thoughts. After all, talking to a blade of grass out loud would make people think he was nuts. Stop for a sec." The voice was clear and soft. The blue-silver emperor began to glow with blue light, mixed with golden particles, like countless stars falling into the ocean. All its leaves pointed in one direction. "Huh." Qiu frowned, patting the tiger's back, stopping it as instructed. "Brother, over there. I feel. Qiu groaned inwardly. The kid stuttered so much, the sun would be down before it finished. A little impatient, he thought, skip the talking, just beam what you want to say to me. Okay, sending it now. The blue-silver emperor sounded a little dejected, as if sensing Qiu's mood. Qiu closed his eyes, absorbing the message. He looked at the blue-silver emperor in his arms, surprised. It said it felt something calling to them, something that felt familiar, but he felt nothing. He considered the setting sun and decided to investigate. That must be the only place that could make it feel a connection. A light flashed in his eyes. He smacked the tiger's head, and the tiger immediately turned, running towards the direction the blue-silver emperor indicated. Maybe I can ruin Tang San's chance. This time, Qiu didn't bother using Sharingan to scout the way. It wasn't necessary. There weren't many thousand-year soul beasts in this area. To save time, he followed the blue-silver emperor's directions, moving in as straight a line as possible. On Qiu's path, a notorious mercenary band was also traveling. In the middle of the team of more than a dozen people, a carriage carried an iron cage, imprisoning 3 700-year-old Fengshuan demon wolves. Come on, people. Pick up the pace. If you haven't found a place to hole up by dark, you'll be wolf bait. Sitting cross-legged on the iron cage, a man taunted the trapped beasts with a bloody severed arm, yelling at the others. Got it, boss. The others responded in unison. Work hard, finish this job, and I'll take you all to the pleasure houses. Ha! Boss who? Look. There's a guy riding a spirit beast. A skinny man with a hooked nose spotted Qiu approaching. Riding a soul beast? Yeah, right. Yen, are you blind? His companion laughed. I've never seen anyone tame a soul beast as a mount. Blind? You're clueless about my black eagle Wuhuan's vision. Yen scoffed, ignoring them. He yelled at Wang Hu on the iron cage. Boss Hu, I'm telling you, that kid's riding a jade-eyed cloud-winged tiger that's barely 1,000 years old. Slap. Wang Hu smacked his thigh, stood up, and squinted into the distance, but could only make out a blurry shape. Yen understood his boss's concern. Don't worry, boss, that kid's barely 10. He can't be a match for you. Wang Hu's eyes lit up. He tossed the severed arm to the wolves in the cage. Alright, folks. We got ourselves a new target. Move out in Yen's direction. Yen, you lead the charge. Understood, boss. An eagle cry rang out, and Yen spread a pair of wings from his back, flying towards Qiu, traveling along, suddenly noticed a black speck in the air to his right. Soon, it was above him. Hey kid, freeze. Third soul skill, arrow feather, 0.3 soul rings, white, yellow, and purple, enveloped his body. The purple one glowed, dozens of arrow-like feathers shot from his wings, aimed at Xiao, thud. Thud. Thud, Xiao stopped the tiger just in time. The feathers sank into the ground, he glared coldly at Yin Yen hovering above, and the dust kicked up in the distance. Soon, the black tiger mercenary group surrounded Xiao. What do you want? It was Xiao's first time encountering highwaymen. Sharingan told him the strongest of the group only had soul sect power, so he had nothing to fear. A burly man cracked his knuckles. Each step he took brought another soul ring into being. After 4 steps, his muscles bulged, and tiger stripes appeared on his face. Kid! Hand over what's under you. And maybe you'll live, Yin Yen added, and how you control the soul beast. Right, I almost forgot, tell us how you control that soul beast. Wang Hu narrowed his eyes, greed shining in them. Several black lines appeared on Xiao's forehead. Anyone would think he was actually a tiger spirit. What the heck is, what's under you? As Xiao was thinking, the blue-silver emperor urged, brother, hurry, that feeling is fading. Okay. Coming. He replied silently. Kid. You gonna cooperate? Our boss is a soul sect, and he's losing patience. Pfft. Hee. Hearing Yin Yen, Xiao smirked. Just a purple ring soul sect. Useless. With kaleidoscope Sharingan already active, his careless speech betrayed him. Hurry it up, I'm busy, guys. Kid. You're asking for it. Watch me catch you and feed you to the wolves. Feed to the wolves. Xiao saw the blood on the wolves' mouths in the iron cage, and his face turned cold. You've already signed your death warrant. The onlookers watched Wang Hu charge towards Xiao, cruel smiles on their faces, but Wang Hu, who had just charged out, suddenly felt very wrong looking at the bloody dimension around him. He realized he was still in the Star Doe forest. He looked terrified as he was tied to a cross. The kid who was supposed to be riding a soul beast stood before him, his voice cold and devoid of emotion. I'll just stab you for a day and a night. Ah! Wang Hu screamed endlessly, *chi, a sharp sword pierced him. Outside, the smiles froze on the faces of the others. Wang Hu, who was just charging, suddenly dropped to his knees. What the hell was going on? Chapter 48 Welcome, my Emperor. You are listening at novelfull.audio. Chapter 48 Welcome back, my Emperor. Wang Hu looked like he'd been dragged out of a lake. His martial spirit was gone, his hands were shaking as he pushed himself up, and his eyes were wide with panic. He wasn't in control of his own body anymore. Ha! What a paper tiger, thump, while everyone was stunned, Xiao had already ridden Huzi over and snatched him up in his mouth. Bro! Yin Yen shouted, instantly taking flight. Naturally suspicious, he immediately decided, this kid's got something going on. Let's get him together. Yin Yen blocked Xiao's path in the air, and the others swarmed toward him. So impatient, huh? Xiao scoffed. With a flap of its wings, the emerald-eyed cloud-winged tiger kicked up so much dust it forced the others back a step. Amaterasu. He looked up, his right eye leaking red blood. Ah! Yin Yen, who was about to activate his spirit rings in mid-air, suddenly burst into black flames. Ah! Help me! He plummeted to the ground within seconds. The others closed in again, unleashing their soul skills at a breakneck pace, and several attacks hurtled toward Xiao. First soul skill, Coil. Second soul skill, Ghost Claw. Third soul skill, Iron Mountain. Second soul skill, 5 consecutive whips. Bro! Hurry! The blue-silver emperor urged again, making him want to unleash his ultimate move. Alright, alright. I can't help it. Qiu closed his eyes and then snapped them open. Susanoo, that a huge, bloody arm, stripped of all flesh, erupted from him. What is that? Run! Someone realized the danger. But it was too late. Bang, 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 that the bloody arm swung around in a circle, instantly obliterating the soul skills and detonating a bloody mist. Some people's chests exploded, others had their brains splattered. Susanoo's power was terrifying. It only took a few breaths for them to be wiped out. In the distance, the guy with the eagle martial spirit had just burned up. Looking at the surrounding gore and the wailing survivors, the few who hadn't rushed forward were trembling, kneeling on the ground, and begging for mercy. Qiu ignored them, focusing on the iron cage holding the soul beasts. Shenwei. Under the horrified gaze of the survivors, several iron bars twisted and snapped, creating an opening in the cage. You said you wanted to feed me to the wolves, right? Ignoring the pain in his body, Qiu smirked. No. Let me go. Wang Hu was drooling, his mind gone, and his survival instinct drove him to plead, but Qiu wasn't listening. Wasn't I the one who was supposed to be impatient? Whoosh, at Qiu's signal, the cloud-winged tiger flicked its head, and Wang Hu, still in its mouth, was tossed into the cage. No. Ah. Woof, that when Qiu used Tsukuyomi, he'd intentionally held back, leaving Wang Hu mentally damaged but still conscious. Hearing the hungry wolf snarls and Wang Hu's screams, Qiu quickly rode the tiger away from there, leaving behind a trail of blood. Bro, awesome. Hurry up and keep showing the way. Qiu grinned, feeling a slight tingle through his body. He activated the blue-silver emperor's right leg bone, and a cool sensation spread throughout him, quickly erasing the after-effects of using Susanoo for even a short time. Huh. As Qiu moved his right leg bone, he could vaguely sense the blue-silver emperor's call. This made Qiu even more certain that their destination was the blue-silver forest. The emerald-eyed cloud-winged tiger raced under the setting sun toward its lost freedom. The sun had mostly dipped below the horizon, painting the sky with fiery red clouds. Bro, hurry. Yeah, I feel it too. They passed through a dense forest, crested a hillside, and looked down to see a vast expanse of blue and silver grasses blanketing the ground. There weren't many individual plants that were hundreds or thousands of years old. It really is the blue-silver forest. They seemed to be burrowing into the ground as the sun went down. No wonder the blue-silver emperor kept hurrying him. Roar. The cloud-winged tiger gave a soft growl and carried Qiu down in a glide. As soon as they touched down, an ethereal sound echoed across the plain. My emperor. We're here. The blue-silver grass that had been retracting into the ground reappeared, starting from the center of the plain. A vibrant blue light radiated outward to the edges. The blue-silver emperor in Qiu's arms also shone brightly, responding to its subjects. Bro, I dreamed and passed away. Qiu was used to its quirky way of speaking. They slowly walked toward the center. The surroundings were quiet and beautiful, and the blue-silver grass grew denser and thicker the further they went. Whoosh, a blue-silver grass with a hint of gold shot out of the earth. Its main stem was the size of a tree trunk. Welcome back, my emperor. Hum, invisible ripples spread. Qiu felt as if he were immersed in a blue ocean, the blue-silver grasses swaying like waves, wholeheartedly welcoming back their long-lost royalty. Qiu gazed at the stunning scene, both beautiful and awe-inspiring. Each blade of blue-silver grass released a tiny bit of starlight, which flowed into the blue-silver emperor in Qiu's arms. The flower pot left Qiu's hands, bathed in blue-green light, and floated in the air. Pop. Qiu faintly heard the sound of the flower pot breaking. The blue-silver emperor, who had only been cultivated for a little over a decade, instantly swelled in size, its golden color becoming even more vibrant. He. The blue-silver emperor chirped happily. While the blue-silver emperor was still absorbing gifts from his subjects, a voice from the blue-silver dynasty called out to Qiu. Human. I am the Blue Silver King, thank you, The words of thanks abruptly stopped. Qiu was taken aback, sensing a killing intent. Without warning, a massive branch hurtled toward him, about to pierce right through his body. Blue Silver King. Shouldn't you ask questions first? Qiu said, swatting Huzi aside. Ask questions? Heh. You despicable human, my emperor's origin must not be lost. Origin? Qiu was confused, whoosh, even though the blue-silver grass family wasn't known for fighting, the blue-silver king's tens of thousands of years of cultivation weren't for nothing. The branches continued to sweep toward Qiu like a giant python. He narrowly dodged the attacks. Blue-silver king, don't force my hand. Qiu glanced at the still-growing blue-silver emperor, hoping she would wake up soon, seeing the surrounding blue and silver grasses also getting ready to move, crisscrossing and spreading throughout the entire space. He knew that if this continued, his divine power wouldn't hold out. Swish, Qiu jumped, dodging another of the blue-silver king's attacks, and activated his right eye's second soul skill, releasing a drop of blood. Amaterasu, hum, the branches and leaves swept out by the blue-silver king instantly ignited in black flames, which began spreading toward the blue-silver king's main body. Ah! Damn human! The blue-silver king cried out in pain. Subjects. Kill him and retrieve my emperor's origin. As soon as the words were spoken, the burning branches and leaves broke off from the blue-silver king. Qiu's Amaterasu only managed to cost it some insignificant foliage. Blue-silver grass was known for its toughness and its tenacious will to survive. It wouldn't take long for the wounds to heal. Following the blue-silver king's command, countless blue-silver grasses wove together into a massive cage, continuously closing in on Qiu. Qiu ran to the side of the emerald-eyed cloud-winged tiger and explained again, Blue-silver king, I obtained this right leg bone by accident. I haven't harmed your emperor. It doesn't matter where you got it. For my emperor, the soul bone must be returned. If not, our clan will make sure you never leave here. The blue-silver king ignored him, determined to reclaim the soul bone, never leave. Did that mean he was going to be stuck there? Qiu couldn't let that happen. Activating the divine power in his eyes, he knew that when all else failed, the best strategy was to flee. Stop! You're not allowed to hurt brother Qiu. Suddenly, a childlike voice rang out, interrupting their actions. Chapter 49. You are listening at novelfull.audio. I watched as the bluish-green light in the air faded away. A towering blue and silver grass, easily 6 feet tall, stood swaying gently, radiating a soft, vibrant energy. You are not to harm him. The voice, though young, was undeniably regal, belonging to the blue-silver emperor, and brooked no argument. The giant net vanished, and Qiu found himself unfrozen. But my emperor, the life force you lost is still within this human. The blue-silver king, almost bowing, showed its respect for royalty. I don't want it anymore. The eye was still soft, but the rest of the sentence hardened with resolve. Qiu sensed a touch of childish bravado. Impossible. The blue-silver king was aghast at the child's nonsense. Without your life force, how can you return to your full power? We don't need to hurt him, it reasoned, afraid the emperor would refuse. Just take back the soul bone that belongs to you. Really? The blue-silver emperor's tone brightened. Qiu had had enough. What do you mean, don't hurt me, just the soul bone? Am I not gonna be able to walk after you take the bone? He'd be crippled for life. What? Crippled? Absolutely not. The blue-silver emperor was instantly unhappy at the prospect of Qiu losing a leg. Humph. Human, you can rely on our clan's abilities. You won't be harmed. The king huffed at Qiu, then turned on its most respectful, persuasive tone for the emperor. My lord, rest assured, he'll be perfectly safe. No, no. Just no. It would hurt too much to lose a leg. You can't hurt him. that the towering blue-silver emperor swayed, blinking. But the blue-silver king started to object, but was cut off. No buts. I like my brother the best. If you even touch him, I'll just ignore all of you. That the blue-silver king was silent, overwhelmed. This was too hard. Why were these emperors such a handful? It was all because of those wretched humans. Qiu felt an unfriendly mental probe sweep over him. The blue-silver king's blurry, tree-trunk face seemed to furrow in thought. It decided it needed a new approach. My emperor, perhaps we should speak in private. That without warning, a towering wall of blue and silver grass sprang up, enclosing the blue-silver emperor and the blue-silver king. Curious as he was, Qiu's Sharingan could only see the swaying forms of the two golden blue and silver grasses. He couldn't hear a thing. Damn it! No fair. Qiu, caught trying to eavesdrop, suddenly found a giant leaf wrapping around him. Recognizing the pale gold, hazy lines, Qiu knew it was the blue-silver king's handiwork. Crap! Qiu's face fell. He couldn't even summon his soul power. It was being siphoned off, absorbed, boom, depleted of soul power. Qiu was unceremoniously dumped on the ground. The remaining dregs of his soul power couldn't even maintain the three-tomo Sharingan. A small chair woven from blue-silver grass materialized before him. Qiu looked grim. This feeling of helplessness was awful. He gave a wry smile, and without ceremony, sat down, resigned to waiting for the outcome of their little chat. Just hope little blue-silver emperor is reasonable. Inside the high wall, the blue-silver king was trying to sway the young emperor. My emperor. Do you want to be with him forever? Of course, I do. Qiu was the first being it had seen since gaining full consciousness. He'd saved it from the dark cave, and my brother's eyes are pretty too. The blue-silver emperor giggled, swaying like a shy girl. Then what should we do? My emperor, every blue-silver emperor gives birth to the next emperor's seed before they die. Your inherited memories will tell you the answer. That the blue-silver emperor began sifting through its own memories. That it gasped, then asked, you mean, eat my brother? How could I do that? It was clearly distressed. In order for you to recover quickly, you need to get back your life force. Our clan needs your leadership and protection. The blue-silver king pressed on. And after you devour him, you can keep his consciousness. You'll be together forever. Seeing the blue-silver emperor hesitate, the blue-silver king bent low and spoke with sorrow. My emperor. It is your sworn duty to protect our people. Please, don't be stubborn. They've been without an emperor for too long. The tragedy of the previous blue-silver emperor must never happen again. My emperor, please put our people first. The mental energy of countless blue-silver grasses linked with its mind, ringing like a bell, creating an immense pressure. Slam! The blue-silver grass barrier shattered, revealing the king and emperor. Having reached a decision, Qiu, who had been pulling at the blue-silver grass in frustration, stood up. Brother, come here. The emperor's voice echoed in Qiu's mind. They won't hurt you. Qiu did as he was told, instinctively reaching out to pinch its stalk, but a regal glare stopped him in his tracks. Hee, old habits. He grinned awkwardly at the blue-silver king, but the blue-silver emperor snuggled against Qiu's hand, pressing it to its face. Brother, if I stay with you, will you hate me? Huh? Aren't you staying here? Qiu glanced at the sixth child. What had they been talking about? Brother, are you saying you hate me and don't want me around? The little blue-silver emperor sounded heartbroken. How could I? I'm just worried they'll give me trouble. Qiu was thinking about the whole soul-draining thing. It'd be great to have you to talk to on the road. Really? Yeah, really. Qiu nodded. He didn't think a kid could be that bad. My emperor. It's time to begin. We will assist you. The blue-silver king urged from the side. Huh? Begin what? Before Yi Qiu could finish his question, he felt a moist sensation in his chest. Looking down in disbelief, he saw blood. The blue-silver emperor's slender branches had turned into razor-sharp blades, piercing his heart. Brother, don't worry. I'll always be with you. The blue-silver emperor's gentle voice was in his ears, but it was even more ruthless than the blue-silver king when it came to playing dirty. Human. It is your honor to become one with my emperor, that the blue-silver king shouted ecstatically. Their emperor was returning. Yi Qiu was paralyzed, frozen in place, sensing his own condition. The disbelief in his eyes morphed into confusion. He didn't feel death, just warmth spreading through his body. Both he and the blue-silver emperor were bathed in a blue-golden light. It was sinking into Yi Qiu's heart, inch by inch. The clear, youthful voice whispered again, "Brother, please accept my gift." That the blue-silver king realized something was wrong, its voice frantic. My emperor. This is wrong. It's backwards. You're supposed to devour him. They watched as the blue-silver emperor's body slowly poured into Yi Qiu's chest, vanishing without a trace. The blue-silver king was in a panic. Quick! Someone help me! Save my emperor! That the cry echoed out of the blue-silver forest, carried to every single blue-silver grass, in dark corners, on sheer cliffs, on lonely roadsides. All the blue-silver grasses glowed, twinkling in the night. End of this chapter. Chapter 50 Growing Up. You are listening at novelfull.audio. Golden lines covered Yi Qiu's body as the blue-silver emperor's form faded. Tiny sparks, like fireflies, zipped toward blue-silver forest, gathering above where the emperor had been. Blue-silver domain. Embrace all rivers. The blue-silver king cried, pushing its power beyond the limit. The combined energy of countless blue-silver grasses, amplified by embrace all rivers, kept the blue-silver emperor's consciousness alive. Yi Qiu was clueless. He just felt like he was soaking in a hot spring, totally refreshed, and he drifted off to sleep. Damn it! We gotta save our emperor. The blue-silver king strained to keep the blue-silver emperor going. Two purple soul rings appeared around Yi Qiu. No way. This human. The blue-silver king had planned to off Yi Qiu to salvage what was left of the blue-silver emperor, but now it hesitated. Screw it. If His Majesty the Emperor wants him, let's roll with it. Maybe there's a chance at godhood. A sky full of blue light flooded into Yi Qiu, replenishing his lost soul power. The blue-silver emperor's pattern slowly appeared on his chest. All his soul power surged into his heart. Yi Qiu's black hair gradually turned blue, his skin grew smooth and fair, and he got taller. Rip. His clothes tore as his height shot up from 4 feet 7 inches to 5 feet 7 inches. Phew. Okay. Last step. Rebuild my emperor's body. The blue-silver king sighed in relief. Floating in the air, the power pouring into Yi Qiu started flowing out from the blue-silver emperor mark on his chest. An ethereal heart slowly materialized, followed by veins, bones, organs, and skin. A ghostly image of a jade-carved little girl with blue hair appeared. As Yi Qiu's soul power drained and poured in, the image solidified. Yi Qiu's soul power plummeted from level 26 to 25, 24, 23, it finally bottomed out at level 20, and his second soul ring started to crack. Snap! Crack spread across the soul ring, and it shattered, its energy becoming nourishment for the little girl. Finally, the little girl became solid and slowly opened her bright blue eyes. Time flew by, who knows how many days and nights. In the blue-silver forest, a little girl knelt beside a guy lying on the grass. She babbled, her voice clear and sweet. Brother, why aren't you awake? It's just grass here, so boring. Hee hee. My brother got so handsome. Why not me? Should I take a little bite? Okay. Just one bite. A tiny one. Yi Qiu heard voices and felt something wet on his face. He could smell a delicate fragrance. The bright light made him squint, and he saw a pink and jade-carved little girl. She looked only 2 or 3 years old, with long, flowing blue hair, a blue-gold dress, an air of nobility mixed with mischief, and flawless crystal blue eyes. Qiu felt like he was in the warm sun, full of fiery energy. Finally, Qiu got used to the light and opened his eyes. Whoa! A little girl biting his face. What kid does that? Before he could react, the little girl jumped into his arms, surprised. Ah! Brother, you're finally awake. You were asleep forever. Ouch! The little girl tumbled to the ground. Qiu ignored her, shoved her aside, and sat up. Who are you? He looked around, confused. Where am I? Brother, what's wrong? This is Blue Silver Forest. The little girl's blue eyes filled with tears as she rubbed her butt. Blue Silver Forest? Qiu rubbed his head, finally remembering. Right. I was attacked by that Blue Silver Emperor's sixth son. Brother, what's a sixth son? I didn't sneak up on you. The little girl's voice floored Qiu. You're the Blue Silver Emperor. Qiu grabbed her shoulders, staring in shock. Yep. I'm the Blue Silver Emperor that my brother saved from the cave. That's right. Even the voice is the same. Qiu turned her around, examining her. He even lifted her up, muttering, Why'd you suddenly turn human? Hey! Don't get fresh. I'm not your toy. That the regal voice interrupted Qiu's thoughts. He looked around at the towering blue and silver grasses, the one in the center being the Blue Silver King's sixth son. The little girl yawned. Brother, I'm sleepy. Then, to Qiu's bewilderment, she turned into a ray of light and went into his heart. Qiu patted himself all over. Where'd you go? No. Crap. Qiu yelled, Where are my clothes? Thinking about how long he'd been lying here naked, he felt like the surrounding grasses were staring. Mortified. Panicked, he pulled out a piece of clothing from his shenwei space, covering the essentials. Looking down, Qiu froze. No, this can't be. What the hell? He lifted his makeshift skirt, took a peek, raised his arm for a closer look, and kept touching his face. Damn it. Why'd I get so big? He's just a kid. Tang San was only 12 when he got this tall. What the heck happened? Qiu finally calmed down, looking at the Blue Silver King. Check yourself out. See what's changed. Huh? Qiu frowned, surprised by the bangs hanging over his forehead. Blue hair. He focused, and sensed the surrounding blue-silver grass, feeling a natural connection. Blue-silver Emperor bloodline. Before he could laugh, his face turned pale as a ghost. Why's my soul power only level 20? Dude, my second soul ring. Qiu jumped to his feet, ignoring the breeze on his naked butt. Nothing was as cold as his heart right now. His Amaterasu and Tsukuyomi haven't even warmed up yet. Instant freeze. He glared at the Blue Silver King. What the hell is going on? The Blue Silver King shrugged. What's with the attitude? As you humans say, don't look a gift horse in the mouth. Qiu felt like he'd punched a pillow, speechless. He had gotten something out of it. Whatever. The soul ring's still usable. And this Blue Silver Emperor bloodline is way cooler than the soul ring. He silently grabbed his clothes, fashioned a tiny apron, and sat down again. Now, tell me what happened. Whoosh. A throne made of blue-silver grass appeared. The Blue-Silver King's voice echoed, Sit, my emperor. It bowed respectfully, a complete turnaround. All the blue-silver grasses bowed to Qiu. What's happening? Did I become the Blue-Silver Emperor in my sleep? Seeing Qiu still sitting there, the Blue-Silver King invited him again. Please, take your throne.